Hey guys, welcome back. I did a whole bunch of Great Summons rolls. I actually did about 3 million gold worth of Great Summons rolls, and I was going to record a bunch of that. It took a really long time to process, and I decided it just didn't have enough value there in actually watching all those rolls. It took me about an hour to get through all the rolls, and there just wasn't a whole lot of narration that was valuable there. So I kind of wanted to just cut that down and summarize what I found. I think that'll be really valuable to pass on to everybody. So one of the first things, I had about 4 million in total at the time, but my big goal was to get Bovus El Doro up to the next star level. For me, that was the 3-star level. So at the time, I needed about 30 tokens. I think it was exactly 29. And I was able to get to that point after spending about 3 million gold. So that gives you kind of roughly an idea. I think there's a lot of talk on the forums about Bovus El Doro coming up more commonly in the gold summons than some of the other characters, and I'd like to say, to confirm that at least for me that was true, I ran the numbers on the expected number of hero tokens per character. Let's run over there real quick and we'll look at the portal, make it a little more clear what I'm talking about. So if we go into Great Summons and go to the hero drops, there are actually 18 characters that you can choose between, or not you can choose between, but 18 characters that have a chance of coming up. Now some of them are token only, and some of them have the potential for a full unlock. And if you remember from the other summons videos, or just familiar with it in general, when you would get a full unlock equivalent, but you already have the character, usually you get those white letters and you get kind of a bonus higher number of tokens for that character. Now, strangely, this comes up incredibly infrequently when you're doing Great Summons. I do remember this happening, I think, through some of my daily, the daily ones that I get just regularly for just for playing the game, and then at different VIP levels you get a couple of these. I've had that come up where you get the white letters and you get, say, 10 tokens for a single character, but over the entire 3 million gold that I spent, so doing 30 of these, I think it was 30 of the times 10 summons, to do that, I didn't have it come up once. So only chests from doing all of those. I don't know if maybe it comes up more commonly if you just do the regular summons button. I don't know how that works, but it didn't come up at all for me. That's all the further I can speculate. But it did mean that I was able to get roughly 150 tokens, so that's not so bad. It took about an hour to go through it, and that was a fair amount of gold, but that's what I was able to get. And it should have been an average of about 11, and like I said, for Bovus El Doro I was able to get 29, so it seems like a significantly higher percent chance. And maybe it couldn't be completely conclusive at that point, but that does go along with what the forums say, the experience of other players as well. So that's my experience here. I did get more, noticeably more for some characters than others. Specifically, the ones that had tokens or full unlock seemed to come up more often. There were a few exceptions to that, but like Shadowblade, I got almost none. Like I said, 11 should have been about the average. I think I got 2 for him out of the entire 150, so only a few there. But otherwise, a lot of them I did end up getting quite a few, somewhere around 10 or 12 for most of them. Okay, so that's most of what I wanted to say there. Again, I had about 40, needed to get another 30, so it took that 3 million to get to that point. And I just stopped at that point and used the rest of the gold to upgrade skills. I was working on upgrading him for a purpose. I wanted to include him in a defensive team that's relatively popular. I've seen it from time to time as I'm going through, and it can be very hard to win against. So I will show that in a moment. First, we'll talk about the characters a little bit. Just some of these ones that are involved. So Bovus El Doro is now at a 3-star level for me. And another important note, since it took about 3 million to get about 30 tokens, I'm going to continue to want to build him up, but to give me a rough idea, now I know that it should take about 10 million to get him to 10 additional million to get him to the 4-star level. So I'll probably be saving up for that as I continue to kind of selectively bring the abilities up of different characters. I do have him fully ascended, and it looks like I need just a little bit more gold to finish off leveling up all of his skills. So his basic attack, which would be the 4th attack if he was in a PvP raid. So if he was on the defensive side, which is where I'm looking at putting him in, it would be his 4th attack. So it's the least important to me, since he's got to get through all those other special attacks first, and so I kind of did that one last. But he's almost maxed out there, and I'll just be looking at getting his star level increased. So one other thing to note is this warrior heart. Bovus El Doro has this trait, and another character that is familiar. Let's go up here. I just passed him. So Yokozuna also has that same trait. You'll find it right here. So if you look on the forums, you'll find a lot of testing has been done on this, and they've concluded that those 2 buffs actually stack. So both Yokozuna and Bovus El Doro will get the benefit for those buffs, and it will be doubled up. So it's not completely sure if the bonus is additive, if you're going to get 15% plus 15% to get basically 30% more health, or if it's multiplicative and you'd get something like your health times 1.5, 1.15, and then times 1.15. If you kind of multiply those out that way, then you'd effectively get like 32%, 32.5%, something like that. So that part's not entirely clear, but it is clear that those do stack, and you get a lot more health because of it. So including both of those in a defensive party can really make them a lot harder to kill. All right, he needs a little bit more leveling as well, and this is the only, I wasn't able to get his final ascension yet either. I'll be working towards this. That'll increase his stats even further and give him that additional self-heal, that self-repair when he gets to that level. All right, so now let's go look at this defensive team that I'm trying out. So previously, the defending team I had been using, we'll take a look in the battle log. Look right here. Consisted of Masuta Kira and Black Diamond, Tasumi, and IGOROK. And the order was actually Black Diamond first, then Masuta Kira for the fast speed, and then IGOROK first, then Tasumi. So he could freeze anyone, and then Tasumi acting last. But it turned out that I was getting, I'd say, a fair amount of defeats. It wasn't too bad, but maybe 50% or so I was still having some losses. So it wasn't that frequent that I was getting attacked in general, but when I did, I would lose, again, probably about half the time. And I'm trying to improve that. So, changing that to the defending team seems to have gone fairly well so far. Let's take a look. I only have this one data point, but the team that I lost to had a much higher attack rating. And if you look down them, it's a very high start level. So their Tasumi was a 6-star, Willow Swift at 5-star, Black Diamond at a 5-star, and IGOROK at a 5-star. All the way across the board, they had higher star levels than our team. Again, leading to the higher overall score for the team. So let's take a look at how this played out. I'll try to make some more videos of the defending team, especially if this team does particularly well. I know I particularly have a hard time defeating this team when I come up against them. And so I wanted to focus a little more on this. For now, it'll just be this first battle. You can't force defensive battles. I can't just like force people to attack, so it takes a little longer to build these up. All right, so to start off, they get to have their fast team go. And one thing you'll notice is the number of crits. So we've got 3 crits, so it's not like they just got unlucky. That's a really good start. And then they get Willow, and she's able to take Bovus El Doro right out. I mean, if you're going to have a double crit, there's a pretty good chance you can take them out. But now we get Yokozuna. He puts daze on everyone, and their polar pounding goes, because of the daze, it misses everyone. So that's great. Now, our Bovus El Doro was our first character, and he was killed, so he doesn't, he's not getting to go. Their IGOROK went, and then Now it's our IGOROK's turn. So we get, freeze resisted on most of them, but their Tasumi does get frozen. And now we can do our Soul Shred with our Tasumi, who has fairly low health. And again, having Tasumi in this position as the fourth character means they're going to want to take out the other ones first, but if they use any area effect attacks, then they've got a chance to wear his health down and have some really devastating attacks. So now we're just mopping them up. Their IGOROK wasn't able to finish off Yokozuna. And we've actually, I can't check the health for our IGOROK, but he hasn't actually taken that much damage. I think the only attack he really took was from Black Diamond initially, and it wasn't a critical. So even with that great luck to start off with 3 out of the 4 attacks getting critical hits from Black Diamond with that 2.5 modifier on her crit attack, we're still able to come through that on a team that had higher stars all the way around and do really well. So very happy with how this team's performed so far, and I'm looking forward to continue tracking them and showing that to you guys as we go. That's most of what I had. Just wanted to do a quick update there and talk about leveling up those characters. Bovus El Doro has a lot going for him, especially with that -1 energy, taking an energy away with the Stampede skill. There's a lot of value there, and I think part of that's just because he's kind of a late game character. You need to be fairly high level to dump enough gold into him to raise that star level. So enjoying that character, that he's now a little more viable for me, getting that star level up a little bit higher, and putting these teams together. So I hope you enjoy it, and thanks for watching. We'll talk to everyone soon.